Alright, so I decided to make a video of 30 things that I wish I knew earlier before I was 30. So, the first one, the power of investing over savings. So, there is some risk when you invest your money into stocks or crypto or anything like that, but the reward is typically a lot greater. My savings account really hasn't performed too well the last few years, and my money is really losing to inflation that I've left in there. The second one, the true cost of home ownership. So when you buy a house, like that's great. You're going to build equity, you're going to be paying down your mortgage, but the cost of repairs and any other kind of maintenance really seems to kind of break even with the equity gain. I'm not really sure how I'd compare it to renting at this point in my life, but I would say definitely reconsider buying a house unless you're somewhere where you know you're going to stay for a very long time. The patience required to be a good parent. I didn't know how much patience it would take. I used to think I had patience. Now I have kids, and I don't really have as much as I thought I did. The fourth one is that the Marine Corps is a young person's game. Like everything from how it treats your body to the hours it takes and everything. Looking back now, if I hadn't enlisted at 18 and planned to stay a long time, I probably wouldn't have stayed as long, and I probably would have ended up pursuing something else if I didn't go as early, to be honest with you. Number five, injuries hurt forever. Once you get injured, when you break a bone, when you get some joint damage, it's gonna hurt forever. You're always gonna feel some aspect of it. Number six, so the potential that you lose when you're focusing on your job or your career. So there's a lot of time that goes into building a job, a career, your work, at least 8 hours a day for the average person, right? And you lose a lot of potential and a lot of future paths for yourself by just limiting yourself down that one focused, narrow path. Number seven would be how to recognize and communicate complex emotions. So, you know how you feel happy, sad, uh, angry, but actually being able to identify layers of your emotions and be able to describe why and how you feel that way to people that you care about. So that way you guys can practice better empathy is something I wish I figured out earlier on. Number eight, how small the world really is. So the world is more and more interconnected every day. You've got social media, you've got all these different platforms. Everyone can basically interact with anyone on a given day. And I wish I knew how small the world was earlier on. Number nine, so social media is actually a curse. When you look into how much time you spend on social media, you're going to realize that you're losing a lot of productivity, a lot of your time just to spending it on all the different social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and maybe you're in the metaverse now. If you look at how much time you actually spend there and where you could actually use your time to be more productive, you're going to find that you can basically have a second job if you get rid of all your social media. All right, that goes to number 10. Anything that's proclaiming to be like a hustle culture is a complete lie. Anyone that's trying to sell you on a MLM as a good additional source of income or day trading or some kind of side hustle, just grinding and burning yourself out, it's a complete lie. Just focus on what's important, take care of yourself, don't drive yourself crazy trying to make a little bit more money. Number 11, bad management or leadership. I'll use that term loosely because don't consider a bad leader to be a leader. I just consider them someone in a management role. But anyone that's a bad manager can really ruin your own self confidence, and it can wreak a lot of havoc on your feelings as an individual. Don't let them get to you. Number 12, everything rusts in Hawaii. Moving here, I didn't realize it, but if it's made of metal, doesn't even matter if it's stainless steel, it's going to rust. And it's not going to take long. It's going to take a few months to a year depending on the quality of the metal. Whereas somewhere on the mainland, it's not going to really rust at all. Number 13, physical fitness is going to get harder as you add on injuries and responsibilities in life. So when I was younger, late teens, early 20s, I would spend 2 to 3 hours a day working out, stretching, you name it, just trying to be more physically fit. As I got older, having kids, adding on different little responsibilities like having a house and trying to tackle some DIY projects, getting different little injuries, it all just sort of adds up and it actually gets harder just to stay in relatively decent shape. Number 14, retirement planning. When you start it, you need to realize that there's an end goal as well. You can't just stash away money for retirement and be like, oh yeah, I'm saving for retirement. You got to actually have an end goal. I wish I had had a goal when I started retirement saving. Number 15 is that dogs are trainable. So if you've never had a dog before or you've got a dog, you can train your dog to do a lot of things, but they're not going to be capable of the average adult sort of human level intelligence. The smartest I think I've ever had a dog be is like 4-year old human. Like they can understand commands, they can recognize things, they know places, but being able to get them to complete a complex series of actions or follow a routine is very uh, difficult to an extent. All right, number 16. Friends aren't any kind of crutch or luxury to have. You actually need some friends in life. I, for a lot of my younger years, didn't really make a lot or keep a lot of friends. I just sort of saw them as nice to have and not a need to have. But there will be points in your life when you realize that you need a friend. Number 17, tattoos are best applied when you're muscular. When you have muscles, your skin is going to be stretched slightly and is going to have a different shape. Whereas when you get more like how I am now and sort of the dad bod state of your life, uh, as you gain and lose muscle a little bit back and forth on that sort of teeter totter, your tattoos might not look quite right when you gain a little bit of muscle back, and they might be applied slightly off center on where the muscle actually is. Number 18, sunscreen is my friend. So if you're like me and you're lacking in the melanin department, sunscreen's your best friend. Please just wear it. Sunburn sucks, and it makes you more likely to get skin cancer. And once you get skin cancer, it could spread all over. Just wear sunscreen, man. Number 19, the water, meaning the ocean, lakes, rivers, streams, all that is a fun place to hang out, but it's also dangerous too. I never really understood how dangerous things were until I got caught in a few rip currents myself and, sort of drifted out in the ocean a little too far or saw things bigger than me in the water that made me question my place on the food chain. Number 20, cars are just transportation until your commute is an hour each way. So I always had the approach that a car is just to get you from point A to point B, and I sort of use that approach towards all my like car buying in my life, buying a cheap vehicle that gets decent gas mileage to get me where I need to go, because I don't want to waste the money on it. But when your commute turns into an hour each way, you're spending 10 plus hours a week in your car, especially if you hit traffic. It would be nice to have something a little more comfortable or with some kind of additional entertainment besides a radio that picks up some static or whatever else. All right, number 21. Food should be enjoyed and not just eaten to survive. So, earlier on, when I was struggling for money and all that, like eating food in order to survive is a thing. Just eating whatever you have in the cabinet, all that. But you should find a way to enjoy your meals, whether it's a simple seasoning that you can get pretty cheap or something that brings you some kind of nostalgic memory. You shouldn't just eat whatever's cheapest, you should actually enjoy what you're eating. Number 2 is allergies happen. So as I got older, I've become more susceptible to different types of allergies that I didn't even recognize I had when I was younger, but each time I get exposed to them, it gets a little worse. My eyes get red, my nose gets runny. I didn't even realize I had allergies until I started to get old. So if you notice anything going on now, make sure that you try and avoid it or take care of it the best you can, because as you get older, it's going to get worse. 23. Parents are human and fallible like us all. So basically your parents, they tried their best, and you have to recognize that. Myself as a parent, I'm realizing more and more each day that uh, I have my human side and I am not perfect. As much as I try and help my kids to be better and tried to work towards making them better individuals, I realize a lot that I fail at things that I didn't think I would as a parent just because of exhaustion and different stresses in life. Number 24, if you call it hope or you have a religion or a belief in the greater good, sometimes that's all that keeps bad people in their place and not doing terrible things. So if you don't have something like that, that's fine. But you shouldn't try to take that away from someone else. Because if you do take that away from someone else, you might see a side of them or something might happen as a result of that that you would rather not have happen. All right, number 25, drugs, not necessarily like illegal drugs or any sort of like illicit substance, but drugs as in caffeine, alcohol, any kind of stimulant, any kind of depressant. It's an easy way to cope with stress going on around you, but it will hurt your long-term success in life. Meaning, if you cling to that coffee every morning and it turns into 2, 3 cups and you're realizing that you can't function without caffeine, it's going to occupy part of your brain that you don't even realize until it's too late, that you need that little extra push to focus on things that actually matter or to get a decent sleep cycle. The drugs, again, not bad drugs necessarily or something illicit or horrible, but even caffeine and alcohol are going to hurt your long-term success. Number 26, priorities change. Where I was 5 years ago, I didn't think I'd be here. 10 years ago, I had no idea what life still held for me. And in 5 to 10 years from now, I'm sure things will be completely different again. Priorities change, just gotta change with them. Number 27, generational wealth starts with nothing when it starts. So if you start out with nothing, pretty similar to where I started out at, you can set your kids up for greater success so that they can continue down a path that you didn't have to go down. So you can actually get things done and set people up for success in the future. Future generations, your kids, your grandkids, your great grandkids, they might not even have to work. They might just be some dude sitting at home making YouTube videos or playing in the metaverse or whatever just for fun and not actually having to worry about money or bills or anything like that. Number 28, not everyone that you idolize is good. So not everyone that I idolized, whether it was in my career or in my personal life, was actually a good person. If you ever heard the expression, don't meet your heroes, it'll ruin them for you, it's partially true, but people that you actually look at as an inspiration or a career example can actually be some bad dudes underneath the surface, despite appearing like they have things together. Number 29 is be yourself. Regardless of what's going on in the world, the changes that you make to your own demeanor, your own attitude, the way that you perceive the world around you, it sometimes doesn't come back and you lose a little bit of confidence and a little bit of self-worth. So being yourself, being authentic, is actually a very important part of life. And number 30, I am by no means very popular, but I'm here. I'm making these weird little YouTube videos. Somebody's watching them. So yeah, if you made it to the end of this, go ahead, drop a like, subscribe if you want. I'll make some more stuff out there. Really just talking about life in general at this point. If you got any questions about anything Marine Corps or military related, leave a comment about it and I will do my best to either make a video to explain it to you or provide some type of link or resource for you. Alright, have a great day, guys.